This Valentine's Day, celebrate the one you love the most with Hallmark cards at Walgreens. Valentine's Day is the best time to send your favorite person a reminder of just how much they mean to you. A Hallmark card is a super simple and beautiful way to say how grateful you are for the love you two share. Don't forget, Valentine's Day is Saturday, February 14th. Visit Walgreens today to find a Hallmark card that shows just how much you love them. Because love lives here.
Psoriatic arthritis symptoms can be unpredictable.
I had joint pain, and I couldn't move like I used to.
I needed relief.
I got Cosentyx.
It helped me move better.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for people 2 years of age and older with active psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some were fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
Dermatologists have long highlighted the benefits of indoor humidity for healthy, glowing skin. Dry air can start damaging your skin in just 30 minutes. That's where Canopy Humidifier comes in. Recommended by leading dermatologists, the Canopy Humidifier is a completely reimagined humidifier with invisible, clean moisture, the best kind for your skin. Go to getcanopy.co to save $25 on your purchase today with Canopy's filter subscription. Even better, use code SIRIUS to save an additional 10% off your Canopy purchase. Your skin will thank you.
You're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels, while, in the words of Sabrina, getting our trust aggressively curb stomped.
Stack our shelves with the clinches out. Shout it from the rooftop, can you hear the sound? Yeah. Live your best life, love it out loud. Love it out loud.
Hi, HBs. This Friday on Patreon and our Apple Podcast subscription, I'm telling Sabrina all about the newest and repeated binge I've been on most recently. In the episode, I eat some crow about book 4 in the Game Changer series. I crow about a new-to-me author and their rendition of BFFs becoming lovers, and all the hockey-related smut that's come along with my fixation. We all self-soothe in our own ways, and this has been a big component in my life. Speaking of self-soothing, we needed a little bit of that after reading the book we are continuing today. As a reminder, this episode contains discussions of sexual assault, including in young childhood, on-page violent rape, statutory rape, kink shaming, slut shaming, fat shaming, and more that I probably wiped from my brain before doing this intro. All right, when we left you yesterday, this unfortunate twosome had just kissed for the first time. You know, if you recall, he accidentally sexually assaulted her, then he goaded her into kissing him, and then shouted at her that if she regrets anything, he's not apologizing again. What romance, you know what I mean? That's where we're jumping in. And so she leaves, thank goodness, now.
Then we zippy zap because she does leave.
Yeah.
The next day, we hear all about how guilty she feels.
Can I
about
please
the
read
night
it to
before.
them?
Absolutely.
It's one of the worst things I've ever read in my life. Why had she let him kiss her last night when she'd known that she wasn't woman enough to see it through?
Oh my God.
She couldn't blame him for his anger, Both of them knew she had gone into his arms willingly, but when she had heard the hot rasp in his breathing, felt his strength, and known she couldn't control him, she had panicked. She looked down at the body that made up the lie of who she was. If her outside matched her inside, she would be flat-chested, scrawny, brittle from lack of moisture. What good were curvy hips and full breasts if she couldn't let a man caress them? If they would never bring a baby into the world or nurture its new life? She's worthless.
Guess what? Consent can be revoked at any point. Just a reminder. For any reason. You could have had a weird thought about a hamster that made you feel weird, and you're like, actually, no more. Instead of having a legit trauma response after you were just assaulted.
Legitimately assaulted.
Dark.
And the wild thing, listener, is that literally in the next chapter, Susan Elizabeth Phillips proves to us that consent can be revoked at any point and that Dan understands that.
Yeah. So we jump into the next chapter, right? And they're at an away game, and she's getting a drink with one of the only fucking good people in this book, Bobby Tom. And
even he's questionable.
I refuse. You know what? This is me purposefully pulling the curtain over my eyes. I refuse to read his book because I don't want to know.
No.
As far as I'm concerned, based on this book, like he's a fine little man with some, problematic manly man issues, but also, like, for the most part, not terrible, right?
Oh, really quick.
Comparison.
Really quick. In the last chapter, I just need them to understand the level of malicious thinness that's in this book. She gazed at the computer that sat in the corner of her desk. Can you set me up with someone who can teach me how to use this thing? And then Ron says, you want to learn how to operate a computer? Also, listener, right before this, she worked at an art gallery in which she sold high-end paintings to people. This bitch knows how to work a fucking computer. Or at the very least, she, understands what business is. And, the way that she's portrayed in the first, I cannot. Anyway, so it says, you want to learn how to operate a computer? And she says, why not? I'm willing to try anything if it's non-fattening. Besides, it might be fun to use my brain again.
Yeah.
And then in this one, she's having a drink with Bobby Tom, and she says she took another sip. Later, she would regret the calories, but not now.
Yeah, so she's getting this drink with Bobby Tom, and he
is the whitest Stetson-weariest. He is a sweet little colt, right?
Straight out of Texas.
Except the next thing, it made me laugh so hard because it says they talked about everything. They talked about Mexican food, whether sports teams should be named after Native Americans, and Bobby Tom's resemblance to Christian Slater. And I have never wanted two people's opinions less on whether or not football teams should be named after Native Americans. Who the fuck do they think they are? Your voice doesn't matter here, folks. Okay?
Oh my God.
Okay, now we have to get into another accidental rape.
Wait.
Another accidental sexual assault.
Wait, give me just a second, please. Oh my God.
So mad.
Oh my God, Mel, I fucking needed that so badly. I needed that so bad. I am parched in a desert of misogyny and sexual assault, and I needed that. This was my oasis. Thank you for that. I needed that halfway through this book. So we're gonna motor. So
she has had 2 margaritas that she will worry about later, okay, on their hips. But now, Bobby Tom, is his name Bobby Tom? It's for.
Yeah.
He kisses her. Okay, this is also weird. I have a question about this.
Mm-hmm.
She's 33, he's 25. And according to Susan Elizabeth Phillips, Bobby Tom kisses her on the lips in a friendly way that a younger man might kiss his direct supervisor,
an older woman who, like, basically if the opportunity, like, he wants her but knows it'll never happen kind of thing,
are never gonna. This is just like a friendly smackaroo on the lipsicles between
buddies.
Is that a thing that happens in the world? I've never been randomly
multiple times in this book
by a dude who I've never been, that's never happened to me. I can think of maybe one time with one of my gay friends, but we were both hammered.
I'll put it this way. I have quite literally had sex with friends that I'm still friends with, and we do not kiss on the mouth randomly.
Right.
Like, if there's anybody to have that kind of, like, comfort with,
sure,
we don't do that. Even Hammertown. It's not like a friendly kiss. Like, it's more of a, like, if we are Hammertown, sometimes it'll turn into a makeout, but like,
right.
That's not a friendly bus, you know?
Right. I don't understand. So he sees it and he freaks the fuck out and he shouts at Bobby Tom from across the lobby. And then he muscles her into the elevator. He basically drags her across the lobby and throws her into the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
And then she finds out that quite conveniently, his room happens to be right across from his, which is interesting.
And now they're in his room, and she has been wondering what it would be like to kiss him for chapters at this point.
And she's just drunk enough to figure out, to like get the courage or whatever it says.
Yeah, so she goes for it. She's a little bit bold. And then while they're kissing, she tells him, "Don't stop, even if I say no." And he is immediately frustrated because he's sick of all the kink and mind games that he thinks that she's giving him right now.
Wait, can I just read this part? Because it's like, I don't know that either of us can do it justice the way that SCP does. Because it's disgusting.
It's horrible.
She says, "Don't stop," she pleaded against his lips. "No matter what I say, don't stop." Stunned, he pulled back from her. "Do you mean it?" And she says, "Yes." Seconds ticked by as her words slowly registered in Dan's brain. Disappointment rushed through him, followed quickly by disgust and then cynicism. Why was he surprised? He should have learned his lesson from Valerie and realized that what Phoebe had wanted all along. She was another woman who needed to play submissive games. All of her no's last Sunday had meant yes. She had been manipulating him, and he'd been sucked right in. Wearily, he gazed down at her lush curves, the soft sweep of the lashes framing those tilty-up amber eyes. The swollen lips, blah, 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 blah. Oh, suck me up mouth, gross. Was it too much to ask for just a simple, uncomplicated romp in bed? No mind games? And then he was suddenly furious as he'd been when he'd found Bobby Tom drooling all over her in the bar. And...
oh, wait, but he does put actions. He's like, she'd probably... just because she's a sex bomb, she'd probably been feeling him up under the table, rubbing against him with those long, bare legs, brushing her centerfold tits against his arm, hitting him with a whole load of shit. "Don't stop just because I say no, Bobby Tom. I really mean yes." And then he proceeds to blame Valerie for, quote unquote, warping him. And in his head, the misogyny in this book is so strong. it seemed as if the women in this country had gotten irredeemably screwed up when it came to sex. They either wanted to be stomping high heels into your chest or having you handcuff them to the bedposts. But then, get ready, after what she'd put him through, a little rough stuff with Phoebe Somerville might be just what he needed to get rid of those images of her that kept popping up in his mind at the worst times. Tonight, he would put an end to it. Whatever you say, baby.
Phoebe heard the edge of menace in Dan's voice, but she was feeling too good to let it frighten her. And it should have frightened her because, like, he throws her on the bed and she says, stop. He puts her arms.
And get this. The craziest thing about this is that they're making out, right? And she gets a little skittish and is like, starts to pull away, but he doesn't take stop. He doesn't listen, right? And she had requested that. And like, this is one of those examples of a scene where I have some words for Susan Elizabeth Phillips, because this is a scene where I hate his response, right? The way he feels inside and what is driving this is fucking terrible. But
what he's doing is exactly what she asked for.
Exactly. And so he is not listening because guess what? She put that on the table, right? And she told him that's exactly what she wanted. But this is a great example of listener, this is why when you do kink, you need a safe word. Because don't stop when I tell you to stop. But if I fucking say petunia, you better stop that shit. Yeah. But obviously that's not happening in this scene. And he's thinking about how he's too old for this shit and he's annoyed, and they have this like oh my God,
he's so judgmental.
This was fucking awful though. So now he's like going at it, right? He's like touching on her and like all of these things. Now. He's rough. And he pulls his hand away
from her mouth because she had it over her mouth.
Yeah, and she screamed, and then he covers her mouth again, and he's like, shut up, people are going to be able to hear you. Meanwhile, in her brain, we're again having a graphic description of her being thrown right back into her rape. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's rough. And then he's like, stop, people are going to hear you, blah, blah, blah. And she like, it turns into this thing. He like lets her go. Right? And he says, that's it. He rolled off her, shaking his hand. I've tried to be liberated and understanding, but I'm not doing this anymore. She was so startled, she quit struggling. He shot to his feet.
This is after he let go of her enough for her to get off the bed, run all the way to the door, and try to leave buck naked. Mm-hmm. And him grabbing her by the waist and dragging her back to the bed, being like, you're even crazier than I thought you were, and throwing her down again.
Yeah.
So she's like almost escaped one time.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, go ahead. So now he's like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Which,
and
like, that should have been your response from the start, Dan.
Yeah, if you don't want to do this, guess what, buddy? Consent goes both ways. This is not.
You don't have to do any of this.
This is not me shaming him for this. Like, it was. Frankly, it is. I loved that he was willing to participate in kinky things that aren't really his bag, right?
Yeah,
but he was doing it for somebody he cares about, right? Because he wants them to enjoy. Like, that's wonderful. The kink shaming can fucking take a seat, but like, that's wonderful. The internal monologue though of like, there's a difference between doing something because somebody likes it and it doesn't really, like, you don't really feel one way or the other about it, right? Like, God knows there are kinks that I'm not into, but like, if a partner I'm with is like really into it, let's fucking, like, I don't mind doing it. It's not something that's gonna like really get me going in the sense that
the
like,
thing is not gonna get me off, but how much you're into it is going to get me off.
Exactly. And like, that's wonderful.
But the thing that crosses the line for me is him being like, I don't want to do this thing. I will do it for her, but I'm so annoyed with her that I'm going to go whole hog in order to punish her for liking this thing that I don't like.
Oh my God. And that's another thing is like, if you are in that space, this is not a safe space to be practicing kink.
No.
You do not hit somebody or like get rough with somebody in a kink scene because you
when
legitimately
you're mad.
have angry feelings. That is unsafe sex 101.
To the max.
Like, that's when it goes from kink to abuse. This is when kink becomes not kink. This kink becomes abuse masquerading as kink, right?
Yes.
It's awesome. You're going to love it.
I am
I'm
going to
give it to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
If you're shopping while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast, then you know and love the thrill of the hunt. But are you getting the thrill of the best deals? Rakuten shoppers do. They get the brands they love with the most savings and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores and even stack sales on top of cash back. It's easy to use, and you get your cash back through PayPal or check. The idea is simple. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back. Download the free Rakuten app and never miss a deal. Or go to Rakuten.com to start getting the most bang for your buck. That's Rakuten.
Thanks, Ashley, for being here. You are.
This Valentine's Day, celebrate the one you love the most with Hallmark cards at Walgreens. Valentine's Day is the best time to send your favorite person a reminder of just how much they mean to you. A Hallmark card is a super simple and beautiful way to say how grateful you are for the love you two share. Don't forget, Valentine's Day is Saturday, February 14th. Visit Walgreens today to find a Hallmark card that shows just how much you love them. Because love lives here.
And so he basically is like, I'm stopping. I don't care that you told me not to stop. I'm stopping. I'm sick and tired of feeling like some slug who can only get laid if he beats up women. If you ask me, you've got enough notches on your bedpost to have a little more sensitivity when it comes to men. Don't worry, listener. We're going to sneak in some slut shaming.
Yeah.
From now on, when a woman tells me to stop, I'm stopping, even if she's already told me not to pay any attention when she tells me to stop. Bewildered. And actually, this was another point where I was like, oh, because I'm endlessly optimistic, people.
I know.
I was like, this is the turning point, because then it was super cute. He's like, maybe I'd like to get strong-armed for a change. Maybe I'd like to be so irresistibly sexy that I got tied to the bed for once. Would that be too much to ask? And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right, Dan. You're right. You deserve to be so irresistibly sexy that, like, they can't hold themselves back, right? Like,
sure.
And I was like, this is the turning point. And then I continued to believe this is the turning point because, listener, this turns into one of the most beautiful consensual sex scenes I've ever read in my life. Because she basically explains to him, she's like, I have a kissing allergy, kind of. And so, like, when I told you not to stop, I only meant while we were kissing because sometimes it scares me, right? But like, I do want to do it.
I want to be able to power through.
Exactly. But when I say stop in any other time, I actually mean stop. And then it's soft.
Feels terrible.
Yeah. But then like they kiss again, and then it's like, it's soft and he's exploring her and she's never felt so, because like, to be clear, listener, all of the sex that she has ever had in her entire life was either a sexual assault or a attempting to take control post-sexual assault situation.
Where she's an object.
Yes. And like and they're kissing and she's comfortable and it feels good. And then in the middle of something, like near the beginning, she tells him to stop and he does. And she's relieved.
She's like, okay.
And she's like, okay. And then there's a super cute scene where he goes into the bathroom and comes back with like a fuckload of condoms and she's like,
she says, can we just pretend that I'm a virgin maybe? Mm-hmm. Like, can we have that kind of sex? That's the sex she's requesting, is like soft and slow and check in a lot. And like, is this still okay? That kind of sex.
Yeah. And then he gets those condoms and she's like, oh boy, you think awful highly of like where tonight's going to go. Like, aren't you being a little like optimistic about the evening, and he's like, how does a lady maiden like you even know what these are? Because he's getting into the virgin thing, right?
It's adorable.
And she's like, television. And then they laugh, and she's realizing for the first time that you can laugh in bed and have a good time. And like, then they have this like, this is also super cute because, and I'm sorry that we're just going to sit in this scene for a minute and glory because the rest of the book is terrible. Because she's wearing this outfit, right? And she asks him, will you get naked, basically? And he does. And then he says, this peep show works two ways, you know? And because he nods towards the part of her still hidden beneath the spread that had settled in her lap. I'm too shy, she replied, sinking back on her heels. And he says, I guess I can understand that, considering your inexperience and everything. The mattress sagged as he settled down on the edge. What I'm going to suggest is this. Since you're a maiden lady, you might be less embarrassed if you just reached under the cover, slipped off what you've got, and handed it out. And like, he's being so thoughtful, and I was swooning. And then she says, stop again. And he does. And then they continue, and he's like, all right, Miss Virgin Lady, I'm going to get you ready. And he does. He's touching on her and worshiping her and being so sweet. And then she tells him to stop again. And he does. And then they continue. And then at one point he says to her, and this was so fucking important. At one point he says to her, I don't have the exact quote, but he says, we're getting to the point where I'm not going to be able to stop if you tell me to stop. Just so you know. Yeah. And she's like, okay, that's fine. And then it's about time for them to do the final deed. And she gets nervous. And he's already said this. And he's about to stick it in. He's about to penetrate her. And she's like, stop. And then he does. And he rolls over and he like makes some comment about like, oh my God, you're killing me. And I wasn't mad about it because like, no, that's fine. But you stopped. And then, and she, the power, the empowerment she feels with that happen, she is like,
I'm pretty sure he does penetrate her.
Well, hang on. We're not even there yet because she feels so empowered. And she like is like, okay, I'm into this again. And then she pulls him onto her and they're kissing. Yes. And she in her head thinks to herself about how in an ephemeral way, because he is stopping in this moment, she loves him. And it's gratitude and it's beautiful. And then he's about to penetrate her and she says, please don't hurt me. And he says, I won't ever hurt you for anything. And then enters her so slowly and carefully. And like, he's holding on to her and he's like, make as much noise as you want. And it's so good. And they're both so into it. And then they are literally mid coitus. And she is like, oh my God, stop. Because she gets nervous. And he does. He pulls out and rolls over. And he's like, I'm dying. And she feels so empowered and she climbs on top of him and rides him and she feels the shackles of her past leave her and she feels free to actually enjoy this and goes for it. And she's riding him and he's touching her clit and then they both come like freight trains and it's beautiful. And all I could think was this entire book has brought us to this. And you know what? It was worth it. This scene made everything up until now not great. I was still pissed about things, but like I was like, I don't regret. But it seemed
like there was a reason for it.
Yes, I did not regret reading the rest, like the earlier parts of this book and powering through it for this. And then Susan Elizabeth Phillips looked me dead in my beautiful eyes. And hupped my face gently.
So gently.
And said, I hate you, and I'm going to prove it.
Yeah.
Because now we have the rest of the book, and we're going to fucking motor through it, because guess what? This was the only good part of this book, was this consensual sex scene.
Yeah, unfortunately. Like, and
I wish this scene wasn't even. I wish I could pull this out of this book and put it in something else so I could actually appreciate it and love it, you know?
Well, because that's the thing. I was still so I was still in such a trauma response in my body that I actually wasn't able to appreciate the scene until we just talked about it. This is when it became beautiful for me. Up until that point, every time he stopped, I was just like, you don't get a fucking medal. Great job. Like, you did the decent thing just now. I'm so glad that she's feeling empowered, but like, I like, it's beautiful, and it is. Well, and the way that you explained it is so perfect.
The reason I loved it so much in the book is all the way through all of this, I was so optimistic. I was hoping, because like that happens in every book. And the books I hate the most are the ones where I'm optimistic all the way through to the end, or through to a certain point that is a decent way through the book, and I think that we hit it.
Yeah.
Because this author this book could have been beautiful if it had shifted post this, right? If this had actually been a turning point. This is when Susan Elizabeth Phillips broke my heart after this scene. And this is when I started hate reading. The only reason I was going to finish this book was as a hate read, so that I could come on pod and...
yell about it.
Yeah, yell about it.
Because here's the thing. We've talked in the past about one-click authors or whatever, or like authors that you trust with anything. Sierra Simone is one of those. Rebecca Weatherspoon is one of those. There are authors out there. Tiffany Reese is one of those. There are authors out there that I can look at a blurb and be like, this has every single one of my triggers, but I'm going to go into it and I'm going to read it because I know that this author will take care of me. This author takes care in their writing. This author is not reckless. That doesn't mean that they're not graphic. That doesn't mean that they're not violent. That doesn't mean that there aren't scenes that live rent-free in my head. But I know that by the end of the book, I will feel good about everything. I will believe the HEA. There will be an appropriate grovel, and I will have been cared for. And I meant to say this earlier, but here I am saying it way too far into it. I think I just have to make a rule on the podcast. I'm so sorry if there are any more 5-star Susan Elizabeth Phillips recs. I'm going to break my promise to you, and I refuse to read another one.
Yeah, this is the end of it.
If you did recommend a Susan Elizabeth Phillips book, just email us with another one, and I promise to do your book still. But this book proved to me that as an author, Susan Elizabeth Phillips does not care about me. She is reckless with how she writes about certain situations. And as evidenced by this book, the follow-through isn't worth it. The resolution doesn't work for me. And
so I'm going to reassure you, Mel, I literally just looked it up. This is it. There's nothing else on here. So
don't recommend a Susan Elizabeth Phillips book. I fucking refuse. I'm sorry. That's me taking care of me.
Yeah, and we'll put this in notes as well, just so that, like, because, you know, there are possible Susan Elizabeth fans that...
And that's great.
Yeah, and that's great.
It's probably just not going to work for me. I just didn't know that she could hurt me like this.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, this is the point where the authors you were just talking about, the ones that we trust to take care of us, this would have been the turning point, right? This is where this would have been the upswing, right? The rest of this...
But they also would have taken a lot more care with a lot of the earlier stuff.
A lot of the earlier stuff as well.
We would have known that guy was homophobic without saying the F word.
Yes. Oh, and there's a whole subplot with some crazy asshole who drops the N-word a lot, like unnecessary racism. What? I literally don't understand why those were necessary, right? Like, race isn't brought up hardly in this book, except for the fucking racist shit towards Darnell, talking about how, like, well, you know, like, that's just what black men are like, aggressive and scary.
He's just so dangerous.
And
I don't want my poodle around him.
And, like, oh my God. And, don't worry. This black man isn't scary. He's a sweetheart. 'Cause, like, black people can be fucking fantastic too.
What?
Ma'am. Wow. Really? That's what we're... Oh, okay. Okay, Susan Elizabeth Phillips.
Yeah.
All right, Phoebe Somerville.
She literally goes up to Darnell because she's frightened that he's holding her dog.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You know what? Because what's going to happen is we keep saying we're going to motor. We've hit the point where there's nothing. This book is not redeemed ever after this. This was the final straw. No, poorly. This is the final straw. And so now we can motor. We're just going to fucking cruise through this shit to the end.
Yeah, she gets super slut shamed because of a very artistic photo shoot in which her naked body was painted to look exactly like the painting that was behind her. Photographs of those things came out in a very well-respected magazine, but football can't handle it. And also, somebody saw her coming out of his room late at night, and so rumors are swirling there. The only reporter who asks an offensive question happens to be the only overweight reporter. Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. She handles it gracefully and beautifully.
Yeah, she handles it wonderfully, actually, because he's like, well, how was Dan in the sack? And she looks at him and says, he was great. So are all of the people that I slept with.
And rumored to have slept
supposedly.
with. Yeah.
But you were lacking, and everyone laughs, and it's a whole thing.
Hilarious.
And like, ha, 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 ha. But like, I say she handled it great in the sense that like, she's not fazed by it, right? She's like, she has a response. She's like, get fucked, dude.
Yeah. She definitely rises to the occasion.
Yeah, and then
they keep on losing. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Because of this Beaumont photo shoot thing, he loses his ever-loving mind. He yells at her, and oh my God, there's that time that he slut shames her over her clothes, and he says, I suppose you know you disgraced yourself at the game today by showing up in that snake charmer outfit, blah, blah, blah. So then they go into the conference room after this Beaumont magazine thing. He looks at it and he's immediately like, you're a slut whore, and I can't believe you would do this, and la, 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 la. She's feeling terrible. Ron tries to defend her by being like, I don't care how you feel about the photos. You need to stop this right now. And Dan says, I'll stop when I decide to stop. Unless you want to bring an outhouse full of shit on your head, remember that I'm the one coaching this team. Looks to me like you've got more than you can handle just taking care of bimbo control. Mm-hmm. He gets suspended for a week, which is illegal according to his contract, and he throws a big fit, but then he does leave, and then he realizes that he's being the biggest asshole that's ever bullied anyone in his life.
Sorry, buddy. Too little, too late.
Yeah.
Then we have like a ton of scenes of them together and like interacting. And I'm not gonna lie, at this point in the book, every time I legitimately like was amused by something, I just hated it more.
You were mad about it.
I was bitter that there were parts that I enjoyed in the rest of that. Like, I was so fucking angry about it at this point, like in a spiteful way, right?
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, I just have to comment on this because, like,
please,
it boggled, like, so unnecessary, right? And, like, I get it. This book came out when it did, but also, like, this is just, again, reading it through the lens I have now, right? He makes a joke about turning her dog into Chinese food because, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Chinese people eat dogs.
Yeah, he says something like it being a Chinese
hors
appetizer.
d'oeuvre. Yeah. And I was like, why? Like,
go fuck yourself.
What? Literally the only thing that did was make me understand that he is
racist.
Yeah. And I just,
I don't care how you treat the people of color you know in your life. You're fucking racist.
Well, don't worry. We don't know how he treats other people of color, but like he's cool to Darnell because Darnell is a fucking wealthy football player that he depends on to win games.
And he's useful and he knows him personally. He's not just a black person.
Yeah. And then he fucking, this happens so many times, literally in my notes where I have commented, I would have DNF'd this book by now so fucking hard if it wasn't for the, like at this point it was a hate read. And that's the only thing that got me through because she even like bucks up to him and makes acknowledgments. Like at one point she tells her sister, today's going to be a living history lesson for you, Moll, on life in the 50s. You'll get to spend time with a man who's managed to miss an entire social movement. And then I think it was supposed to be entertaining that his response to this was, climb in, ladies. I'd open the doors for you, but I don't want to be accused of holding back anybody's liberation. And then she responds, if he takes us out to eat, Molly, order the most expensive thing on the menu. In the 50s, the men always paid. Dang, Dan grumbled. Now you're playing hardball. It's not a joke,
fucking
though.
Charming.
It's not a joke because he legitimately is a fucking sexist piece of shit.
Yeah. In the blurb.
Yeah. And yeah, this is a great example of like, I was warned. I didn't read the synopsis, but like I would have been warned.
At least for that, there was no other warning whatsoever.
No, not for anything else. So then they have like some scenes where like he's there and is like doing things to help like her and Molly fix their relationship, like slowly but surely. And like we see these scenes, she starts thinking in her head about how important he is, how much she cares about him and all of these things. And I'm like, I don't see that. I'm not witnessing the things that you seem to think make him a redeemable human being.
Phoebe was a crackerjack, all right. Without quite knowing how it happened, she had managed to earn his respect.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait, order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
This Valentine's Day, celebrate the one you love the most with Hallmark cards at Walgreens. Valentine's Day is the best time to send your favorite person a reminder of just how much they mean to you. A Hallmark card is a super simple and beautiful way to say how grateful you are for the love you two share. Don't forget, Valentine's Day is Saturday, February 14th. Visit Walgreens today to find a Hallmark card that shows just how much you love them. Because love lives here.
Yeah, and then like things start to flip around in media, right? The media, because she's dressing more conservatively, they start winning games, and the media starts making comments like, oh man, she was done dirty by her dad's will and blah, blah, blah. And
okay, so then at one point, they win a game because she goes in and gives them a pep talk that tries to loosen them up a little bit because
think naked boys.
Yeah, he has like turned them into these tense, like they can't catch a football, they can't tie their shoes, they're so tense. Mm-hmm. So she goes in and she gives him a pep talk and she's like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think of them naked. Think naked! And it becomes like this adorable little catchphrase. The defensive linemen are smiling and like they play and they win. He takes her into the bathroom of the airplane. I'm sorry. He busts in to the bathroom of the airplane when she's trying to leave. And he basically tells her that she can never, ever even look at his football team again, let alone get in the locker room without his prior knowledge. And like, he doesn't know what's going on in her empty little head and all the bullshit. Somehow that then turns into her being like, I don't know who you think you are, but I'm the fucking owner of the team. He's hard now. And
they're on the plane. We're joining the Mile High Club.
Because, wait, he's hard. And it's not because she stood up for herself. It's because she wiggled while she did it.
And the plane was jiggling her around.
And they're in such a small space. So like he fingers her and then he won't let her do anything because in his mind, he has too much respect for her now.
Oh my God. And like throughout this entire book, and this is a thing that in other books I clock, but I don't fucking viscerally hate, is like every time they have any experience, he's like, wow, she really does act like she doesn't know what she's doing, blah, blah, blah. And then like surprise, he finds out at the end that she doesn't know what she's doing because she's never done it before. And like, because she gives him a blowjob and he's like, man, I'm so into this, but I'm so confused because she's not doing it right. And I would think that an old pro like this would know what she's doing, blah, blah, blah.
You don't know her. You haven't asked her a single question about herself, you fucking monster. So then he doesn't let her, and he realizes that she feels rejected because of course she does. And then he like tries to make it better, but not well enough. And then for the next 2 months, he does not
Hang on, Mel.
Yeah, tell us.
She asks him after this because he's like stopped it. He's made her come twice, and she's like touched on his dick, given him a blowjob. He hasn't come though, and he pulls back, and she's like, "How do you do it?" And he's like, "Do what?" And she's like, "Act so hot, and then turn so cold." She believed she'd been rejected, even though he'd tried not to. He knew he'd hurt her. Wow, dude, you are truly fucking
and then he takes no action
of understanding human emotion. Oh no, God, don't worry, he does take action, Mel. He does take action because he knows the only way to heal that hurt is to turn her back into a Spitfire. And so he tells her, I was trying to be a good guy and you owe me for it. I was respecting you and you threw that respect back in my face. And you know what? One of these days, I'm going to take what is owed to me at a time of my choosing, anywhere, anytime. And when I say now, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're going to come with me and then your body will become my own personal playpen.
And she loves it.
And then she's like going back at it. And like, again, this fucking quote,
that would be
this
great.
Scene out of context.
Wonderful. Okay, so now for the next 2 months, because on the rest of this plane ride, he has decided that she is the whore and Sharon is the Madonna. And so he can only spend time with Sharon romantically, but he doesn't want to give up Phoebe. And so he's going to continue like being friends with Phoebe. He just cannot have sex with her. And that is how he will justify to himself enjoying both women simultaneously.
Yep.
He's also already decided that he and Sharon are going to wait until marriage to have sex, even though he's had 0 conversations with her about it. He just assumes she'll be fine with it because, recall, she is the Madonna. And so now we go through this whole inner monologue thing in which at one point he's like, at the end of the summer, he was going to propose to Sharon. Meanwhile, I don't think that at this point he had told us he had even had dinner with her yet. He'd only asked her out. That's how much of an object women are. Regardless, he starts having dinners with her or whatever. She's skittish around him. He doesn't understand why. He doesn't know what to do about it, but he can't be mad about it because that's what he wanted. He wanted a good woman, one of those flower-dusted ones that aren't sexual and love kids but don't know how to make them. And so a big man like him would be scared. He can't be mad about it.
The only buns in the oven they know how to handle are a fucking biscuit. Like,
that's right. So meanwhile, it's 2 months and Phoebe has been like going crazy because she wants to have sex with him. She wants to have a relationship with him, not just this like coworker friendship they have, although she makes sure to tell us she treasures that too. So like she goes in at one point, he's working out. She makes sure to weigh herself, but not in his eyesight because, oh no, she doesn't want him to know how big and giant she is. And then she tries to kiss him. It's like a whole thing. He's like, Phoebe, no. They get interrupted by Reed, who's a douchebag. And then, like, they're winning all these games now, which is great because they have to go to the AFC Championship, and that's the only way that she'll keep the team. And then Reed plants in her head, like, I bet he's only getting with you. And, like, he's keeping just enough distance so that if you don't get the team, he can walk away from the relationship, but if you do get to the team, he can propose to you and get the team.
Then we have this whole scene where she is at dinner to essentially renegotiate the stadium contract because they have a shitty stadium contract and the team is losing money hand over fist, which you can't do when you're paying people $10 million every 4 years to do shit. And she's playing the ditzy, hitsy, bimbo blonde to do all of this.
In no clothes.
In a dominatrix outfit. And then during this conversation, he suddenly realizes there's no way he can marry Sharon when Phoebe's right here and I can't help it.
Well, because he finally is impressed by her. He realizes that for definitely sure, she's really smart. She just plays the bimbo act in order to manipulate people and get what she wants because they are just as sexist as he is. But we find out in this conversation, and I know it was written in 1994, but I refuse to believe that this person wasn't known as a sexually assaulting blowhard at the very best.
Oh my God.
1994.
Yeah.
We find out that she is close fucking personal friends with Trump.
When I tell you I record scratched at that, that was just the icing on a shit
Even Donald
cake.
Trump happened to me in this book.
I know. The hits just kept coming with this book, and they came out of left field sometimes. They really came out of left field. It would have been one thing if it had been like a single throwaway line. No, this is a solid like 2.5 pages about her buddy-buddy relationship with Trump and how he's helping her out with all of this. And I was like, especially where we are, right? Like with what's coming up, like what's happening right this very second in the world. I was like, this is
when I got heartburn.
I could have used a Trump trigger warning, frankly.
Yeah.
Of all of the things in this book. And I could have used a trigger warning for that too, you know?
This is wild. So then he takes her home and he still doesn't manage to make enough words to tell her that he cares about her more than just her body. But they do have sex.
Yeah, they have sex and there's like some entertaining, witty repartee and stuff. And like it, but it's at this point, it's too fucking late. There's nothing you can do to redeem yourself at this point.
Well, not to mention that
you.
it's shat upon immediately by her covering herself up and being like, you're looking at me and I'm fat. And him not even, because God. In my brain, Susan Elizabeth Phillips would at least have the hero say, you're not fat. You're one of the good ones.
No, don't worry.
Not one of the fat ones.
Word for word. She says, she's skinny and I'm fat. And his response is, man, oh man. I'm giving up on women. I'm definitely giving up. And then like a paragraph later, he says, I know lots of women feel insecure about their bodies, and I know I should be sweet and understanding about this. But Phoebe, honey, having you worry about being too fat is pretty much like a billionaire worrying about his money being too green.
I just want to kill everything.
Nothing that you just said is actually reassuring, bud.
No.
Like, none of it is validating.
None of it has anything to do with her.
Yeah, and so then they have sex, and he, at the end of it, he's like, oh no, he willed those gentle feelings away, cursed himself, but as she once again convulsed around him, he would have died for her. His fierceness left him, blah, 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 blah. He squeezed his eyes shut against the surge of an emotion he refused to name. Honestly, I'm shocked you can put a name to any emotion.
You can identify emotions?
It's incredible. Truly a feat. Gold star,
Great
bud.
job.
And then they didn't have use protection. And so they have this whole conversation about like, I get tested every year because of my physical, but like, when did you last get tested? Because as a reminder, this is during the AIDS epidemic. And like, that's a legitimate concern, right?
Well, and first, she's upset that the thought of getting her pregnant is so repugnant to him.
Oh my God.
And then he says, I'm worried about more than just pregnancy.
Yeah.
And then she says, you have nothing to worry about. And she's being cagey about it. So understandably, but also shittily, he's like, what are you hiding? tell me what you're hiding. You experienced slut whore. And then she has to be like, but I'm not at all. I am actually a Madonna in disguise. I have put my slut behind me.
Yeah, so she tells him everything, and without putting it explicitly into words.
Including this guy, Craig, raping her.
Yeah, she makes it very clear that, like, it was very important that, like, it means a lot that you're the one I chose to break my celibacy with. And then he is so sorry and comforts her and all of these things. She learns about how he grew up with his fucking belt whooping dad and his alcoholic mother. And she can't help but wonder if, like, this is why family must be so important to him and all of these things. But
he doesn't say enough to reassure her, enough for her to tell him that she also wants kids. Why do you need reassurance about just talking about something you want independently in your life, Phoebe?
Right.
You can just say stuff like that out loud.
Yeah. So now we have the third act breakup, right? But what leads to this is she is at a game. Sharon's also there. He's already at this point decided, he hasn't had a chance to, but he has decided to break up with Sharon and be with Phoebe for the rest of their lives. Because obviously
it seems like Phoebe might be enough of a whole woman, maybe.
Mm-hmm. She's going to be a good mother.
He can at least settle for her, you know.
And so she finds out through Sharon, like, they're talking, and it becomes very clear and apparent to her that Dan is the one Sharon's talking about, is about to propose, and Sharon fusses that they haven't even had sex yet, and blah, blah, blah.
And so Phoebe understandably is like, oh, I'm the girl he fucks, and she's the girl he marries.
Yeah.
So she gets really mad, and she avoids him for a long time until he finally shows up at her house, and she happens to be baking cookies with 2 children who live next door. And it's crazy to him because she doesn't look like anybody's mom ever could look. She's so hot and sexy, and her red nails are so funny in that
She
flower
doesn't
pot.
look like the woman he's always dreamed of with her red vampire nails and spandex pants, but wow, I love seeing her with children.
So then he's like, what's happening? And she's like, I'm fucking mad at you. And he's like, oh, so you have been avoiding me? And she's like, yeah, I mean, just take off your pants or whatever. You're here for sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, and he's like, what? No, how could you? And does he even find out about Sharon?
Yeah, so she admits that she met Sharon at the Bills game, and he immediately understands what's going on. But he's like, Sharon doesn't have anything to do with the 2 of us. If you're thinking I was sleeping with both of you at the same time, you're wrong. And she says, that's what I understand. You had the best of both worlds, didn't you? You could get your rocks off with the bimbo while you kept your future wife pristine. And he says, is that the kind of man you think I am?
Sir, that's the kind of man you are.
She says it's hard to think anything else. You're not wrong.
That's the kind of man you have told me in your brain that you are.
Yeah, and now she's thinking to herself, like, all I need you to do is tell me that you love me. That is all I need, and then I will believe you, and not, like, don't tell me that you want to marry me, because at this point he said, like, I wanted to marry you, and she's like, so what? Am I, like, number one in your future wife mother situation because I'm not going to hit our kids? And so this entire time she's thinking to herself, tell me that you love me, that it's not just because of children, that it's not just because I might be a good mother and I'm not going to hit our kids, like,
or that you also want to fuck me.
Yeah, like, tell me it's because you love me and not for all of these other awful reasons. And he's not, over and over and over. And then she says, do you suddenly want to marry me because you saw me with the twins, or is it because I'm only 1 game away from owning the Stars? And he's like, what happens at that game has nothing to do with us. And she's like, but it does, because if we win, I will always wonder if that was the only reason that you proposed and want to marry me. And he's all pissed, and he's like, I won't throw the game for you. I won't throw it for anything. I've been offered hookers, blow, and money, and I've never said yes to any of it. And she's fucking distraught, because even now she's thinking to herself, don't say that. Just say, I want to do it because I love you.
Yeah.
I want
real
you
simple.
for you. And he's not. And then he storms out. And then it's game time. And
Look, man, then there's a last chapter kidnapping. Okay, it doesn't matter. She's put in danger.
Yeah.
And the only way that she's going to get out of danger is if he loses the game. So he starts losing the game for them.
He gets the team in on it.
Yeah, she wallops the guy who had her, and she runs out to the field, and they manage to win anyway.
Bang, boom, bong, football times. There's a lot of football in these last two chapters.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
This Valentine's Day, celebrate the one you love the most with Hallmark cards at Walgreens. Valentine's Day is the best time to send your favorite person a reminder of just how much they mean to you. A Hallmark card is a super simple and beautiful way to say how grateful you are for the love you two share. Don't forget, Valentine's Day is Saturday, February 14th. Visit Walgreens today to find a Hallmark card that shows just how much you love them. Because love lives here.
And then the crazy dude shows up in the stands with a gun, and he goes back to his quarterback roots and hits that gun out of his hand with a football throw and blah, blah, blah. Then the final chapter, Bobby, Tom, Darnell, and all of like two other guys, and he go up to rough up Reed because we found out at the end of this book that you remember how Craig was the one who raped her in high school? No, it was Reed. Her cousin.
Reed pushes her up against a wall and says, "It wasn't Craig in the dark, it was me. So just know that if you win and you get this football team, I've been inside you."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so they know about it. So the boys go rough him up, and he's never going to be a problem again. We find out that his plan, we find out his like retirement plan. There's some kinky horny times, which in another book would have been great, where he blindfolds her and they're having sex, and then suddenly she realizes they're on the 50-yard line of the stadium.
I wondered about this. Yeah, I wondered about this because at some point in there, he blindfolds her and he's talking her through it, and he's saying like, "I'm fucking you in front of like a bar full of bikers," essentially is the scenario he comes up with. But then at the end, when he takes off the blindfold, he says, "I wanted to replace those memories with something else." Is that because she got raped in the dark? I don't know what memories he's trying to replace and why specifically it includes a blindfold and public sex.
I'm going to be really honest, Mel. The last like 4 chapter of this book, I just...
Whimsy, fucking
I didn't even whimsy. Whimsy is an active choice. Herbs is an active choice. The rest of this book just happened to me.
Checked out. Yeah.
And then epilogue, he has everything he's ever wanted. A beautiful wife, a wonderful family, 2 kids, and a house in the country. Whoop-de-doo, good for you. And the book is over, and I guess they live happily ever after, in theory.
And this is the book that launched like a 10-book series that people love.
And you know what? Good for them. I'm happy for them that they have the series, and that they love it. And again, this is a great example of, I hate this book with pretty much every fiber of my being. But if somebody tried to tell you you're not allowed to like this book, I'll fight to the death to defend your right to love this book.
Yeah. Like, so I never want to do this again. I don't want to ever again.
I think what I wish I had done is chapter 12 is when the beautiful sex scene happens. And when I realized that it was all downhill from here, and not just downhill, it was like the steepest roller coaster drop into hell. Right?
Yeah.
I wish that when I realized it wasn't better from here, right, from that point, I wish I had messaged you and said, Mel, I understand that this is a 5-star wreck. We're not going farther than this. Like, yeah, because listener,
it really did seem like it was going to get better, though.
But it became very clear within like three or four chapters after the sex that sex scene that it wasn't getting better. Yeah, so right. I don't know. It's very conflicting, right? Because so as listener, as a fan for forever, there were times that you and Aaron read books, hated them, and read the whole thing. Like, I can think of a couple off the top of my head, right? That and the fact that I can think of those books, I could probably name them, right? Or go find them in the back catalog that y'all hated but finished and talked about them anyway, or finished for the most part. And part of it is the spoken contract that Heaving Bosoms has with fans.
Yeah.
That if there's a 5-star recommendation, you read the book, whatever it is, and it's been stated multiple times. You can recommend a book that you fucking love, but you can also recommend whatever fucking romance you want. You could recommend a book that you fucking hate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You could recommend
that.
Yeah, and
they just want to hear us talk about a book they don't like. Great.
And there's this, like, I've hated books before, but this is like not irrationally hated, but like I could see the redeeming quality, you know, and I like this I don't know,
Woo! Hey, we did it. It's done now. Good job, Mel, Sabrina and Mel.
You know, Mel, I've been really spoiled on the podcast since I've joined.
It's true. It's true. You know what? Here's the thing. There have been other books that I have disliked as much as this one, but they at least had like random bear attacks and other shit I could laugh about. And like, there just wasn't
stuff you could laugh about and enjoy without hating the fact that you enjoyed it.
Yes.
And laugh about it.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be like romantically charming.
Because there's a bunch of little scenes. I'll be honest with you. Most of my highlights aren't things that I hated in the book because I knew that there was no way I was going to forget why I hated it.
Yeah.
So like my highlights are stuff that I enjoyed, right? Like it's stuff that I enjoy. Like there's this fucking part there's a part in their like big sex scene after he realizes he's in love with her and he's not going to get with Sharon, right? Where he says to her, and I was delighted by this, she starts to strip and he's like, not so fast. Could we sort of pretend, now don't take this the wrong way because I don't mean anything disrespectful by it, but could we pretend that I'm planning to leave $100 bill on the dresser and expecting to get my money's worth out of this striptease? And she's like, what's underneath this dress is definitely worth more than $100. And he says, as long as you take American Express, you can name your price. And like, it was cute. And then like just a little bit later, she's like pulling, she's like getting into it and she like pulls the dress off slowly. But before she like shows him the goods, she's like, what's the credit limit on your American Express card? And he says, you stop worrying about credit limits and start worrying about whether or not you're still going to be able to walk when I'm done with you. And like, I thought that was cute, right? And I was angry that I enjoyed it. And
and meanwhile, I thought it was cute, but I couldn't even enjoy it, not just because of the rest of the stuff, but because it all started on the premise that sex work is shameful and that he would be disrespecting her by implying that she was doing sex work.
I did whimsy that.
God damn it.
I whimsied that. No, like I was aware of it. I actively.
No, I know. But you were like, just like, I can't.
I can't. Or like, there's like, but that's the thing is, it's little snippets that I enjoyed. And then I was so fucking angry because like that like, there's so many things in this book that make it clear this book could have been something different. And Susan Elizabeth Phillips has the skills and the awareness and the everything to make this a good book.
Yeah. And
that is not actively harmful to the reader.
Everybody made active choices to do harm.
Yeah.
To do otherwise. Like, I just don't understand.
Because, like, even the things that I love, like, so for example, and that's a great example, even the stuff that, like, I did enjoy, there is shit in it that is awful. Like, literally what you just said. I just...
Listen, here's the thing. Between the thinness and the kink shaming and all this stuff, even the stuff that we tried to enjoy was full of microaggressions.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, right? Because, like, the fucking dog comment earlier, that happens during a very cute scene. And so, like, there's some cute shit happening, and, like, it's delightful, and then it ends on that comment about turning poo into a Chinese hors d'oeuvre, and I was like, oh, okay, well, JK.
Well, great.
Bye.
Great. Here we are now.
Like, I
don't know. Okay. Sabrina, what is your lady love?
I had it before I literally talked about having it before we started the book. I'd come up with something even after the shit show that was yesterday. By the way, PSA, I'm not going into detail, but advocate for yourself medically because doctors can really, really suck sometimes. Oh, that's what my fucking lady love was, because I literally cannot stop fucking thinking about what happened yesterday. So, like, the very long story short is that I had a really bad experience with a doctor yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. As a woman presenting person or like, you know, going to a doctor and weight becoming an issue and just the sheer dismissal of things, that being actively accused of lying about things.
Oh, yeah.
Being actively accused of having something in my water bottle that is calorie ridden instead of water, as if I brought a fucking liter of tequila or something to my fucking, like, what do you think is in there? Simple syrup? Like,
yeah, he said shit like, well, you're probably eating unhealthy things. And you said, like, what? And he was like, chips. And you said, I don't have that in my house. And he said, that's a lie. Everyone has that in their house. I don't have chips in my house right now. What the fuck?
Or, like, or like all the times that you had fast food, or like all the times you eat fast food every week. And I was like, I don't.
Like once a month, maybe?
Yeah, it's like every other week, maybe, and it's once a week. I'm sorry, but that is... and then saying, like, it's unhealthy how little I eat, and basically being told simultaneously that I'm lying about how much I eat, or just not remembering eating. And at the same time being told that I'm eating, despite that, too much, and that what I'm
way
eating
you can gain weight, Sabrina,
is causing me to gain weight. There's so much more that happened. So this is a lady loves, shockingly, listener. This is part of the reason I was feeling extra spicy coming into recording about this book. My lady love is having a group of people who are so fucking empowering. And when I come with that situation, being reminded that I can advocate for myself, and not only can I do it, I have successfully done it in the past.
Yes.
So it's not just you can do this. It's a reminder that I can, right? This is not, and yeah, exactly. Like, my lady love is having a group of friends who are so fucking empowering when the world is just, because yesterday was a shit show even beyond that interaction. Yesterday was just a bad day. And having that group of people, I cannot possibly express to you how much I fucking love those people for just the support and the empowerment. And
it was immediate.
Yeah, it was immediate.
It was an immediate
These people
response.
Were at work, they were doing things, they were maybe dealing with kids or family or whatever. They have a lot of stuff going on in their lives as well. And they immediately popped in to be like, you're a fucking badass, so keep being a badass.
Yeah.
And you've been a badass before. And this is not like, I know that this super sucks right now, but you are fully capable of turning this around. Like, we love you and we support you and we're here for you and you could do this. And it was just, it's what I needed. It's what I needed.
Yeah.
And then I did, in fact, go spend the rest of the evening hate reading and mindlessly murdering people on Assassin's Creed, which is exactly what I needed. And guess what? They were like, we support you. We love you. Go murder. And I was like, thank you. Appreciate that.
Murder to death.
So yeah, but long story short, Lady Love is having a group of empowering people who remind you of how incredible you are when you're feeling like poop.
Absolutely. My Lady Love is refusing to read Susan Elizabeth Phillips again.
Fuck,
and that's not just SEP, but like, if there's an author that you don't like connect with and has hurt you, don't read them anymore. Just don't. I don't care if somebody says like this was the best book ever and it has so many tropes you love. You can say to yourself, I don't trust that author with those tropes or me. Mm-hmm. I don't trust them. They've broken many promises that are implicit and explicit between a reader and an author. And I don't want to do that anymore, and so I'm not going to. And I fully support everybody who does love this author. I'm so glad you loved that book, but I will not be imbibing that book. Mm-hmm. I will not. I just won't. Thank you so much for the offer. I'm going to find another book that has the same tropes because Romancelandia is vast and beautiful and wonderful, and there's something here for everyone. Mm-hmm. And sometimes things are not for you. All right. Keeping a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love setting a boundary.
Keeping a badass and love yourself as much as you love knowing who should and who should not have an opinion on whether or not sports teams should be named after Native Americans.
Mm-hmm. Oh, love yourself as much as you love Ron and Sharon getting a fucking book by an author you trust to do right by it.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Next week, we'll be back with Tourist Season by Bryn Weaver. Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by me, Melody Carlisle. Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by the ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. She has a release that just came out. It's called Mated to My Ex, and it is a second chance divorced werewolf romance that I'm so excited about. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. And of course, tell all your friends about us. Even if they don't read romance, like we're hilarious. If you want to get in touch about advertising or anything else, you can email us at heavingbosoms.podcast@gmail.com. And if you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. See you next week.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, Magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
This Valentine's Day, celebrate the one you love the most with Hallmark cards at Walgreens. Valentine's Day is the best time to send your favorite person a reminder of just how much they mean to you. A Hallmark card is a super simple and beautiful way to say how grateful you are for the love you two share. Don't forget, Valentine's Day is Saturday, February 14th. Visit Walgreens today to find a Hallmark card that shows just how much you love them. Because love lives here.